G'day guys and welcome to the chin up. Today we are going to be talking about exactly how to execute the chin up, what muscles are at play and how to put ourselves in the least advantage position to get the most advantage out of the exercise or the most bang for our buck. So first things first, what we need to know about chin up. Well, one, we're going to be targeting our lats predominantly. And we're going to get some transfer load through our arms as well, obviously because this is a compound exercise and it works multi-facet joints. That's number one. Number two is this, with the chin up, unlike most other exercises, because the rack is the most stable point, we obviously move to the rack rather than, say, a dumbbell or a barbell that will move to us. Now, why is that important to know? Well, when it comes to biomechanics, the least stable bones will always move to the most stable bones. So with our hand position, it becomes awfully important to get the most out of this exercise that you have set your hands up to absolute perfection. And where I would suggest you put your hands is just slightly past shoulder width with your hands over. If you're coming under the bar, then I would go in line with your shoulders, if not maybe just a touch closer. Remember, we're trying to target our back, we're not trying to target our arms. If we're going to target our arms, we're going to bring them in nice and tight and ideally pull through the biceps. But for today, we're trying to target our lats and get those big, broad muscles on the back here to really flare out. So our hand position is most critical in this position. So I'm looking for just past shoulder width. Now, let's talk firstly, instead of our, we now know where our hands are going to go, but let's talk firstly about our lower body. We know that, especially with our bench presses and or any presses, that if we can arch our back, we get greater thoracic extension, which then allows the bar to travel less, and so on, and therefore potentially move more weight. Now, it's not about your chest, but what we are going to do is we're going to mimic that position in order to get greater contraction through our back. So with our bench press, we place our feet underneath our backside. Now that's what I want you to do in this position. When we're dangling, we're actually going to pull them back. Now I like to cross, a lot of people don't like to cross, but I like to purely because that way then I know I can squeeze my glutes on, and that'll be the next part. I want you to squeeze your glutes, create that thoracic extension, start at your feet, work your way up into your back. Right, take a breath. So set your hands, arch your, and then squeeze your glutes together. From this position, any pull motion is a three-step process, right? After we've set up our feet. So obviously our first step is to grasp the bar and then squeeze our glutes on, make sure our lower body is locked up and nice and tight, right? Step number two is from here, I want to stabilize the scapula. Now, how do we do that? Well, using our lats, we're going to pull that scapula back and down into position. So it's going to look something like this. So we're going to go down and back like that. So all of a sudden it feels as if my chest is angling up towards the bar, and I could almost lean back and look at the roof if I was to do this exercise from this position. So if I'm here and currently I'm looking forward, and then when I pull my lats down, it opens my chest up, I'm tight, and now I know that my scapula is nice and stable. This is the point in which I want you to pull from. So let's go again, 1 and 2, nice and tight, and we're going to switch our lats on and stabilize our scapula. From here, we're going to pull up, squeeze, and back down. 1, stabilize, squeeze, and back 2. Now, you'll notice that at the bottom section, I go back in to this position here where I'm nice and lengthened, right? The reason why I want to do that is to create a stretch. When we create that stretch, it takes our muscle through the full range of motion and helps with our shoulder stability, helps with our shoulder health. And also, it has a decompressing factor to our spine as well, which is really important in some recovery, because If we go ahead and do loads of, say, deadlifts, loads of squats, loads of compressive exercises that we have weight on our back or weight pushing us down, then we need a decompressing exercise such as a hang or a chin-up to lengthen us back out again. So doing chin-ups is actually a really good way of decompressing and then potentially a recovery method. So yeah, there's a little extra something for you. Anyway, so step 1, hands and feet, squeeze your glutes on. Step 2, shoulder blades back and down. Step 3, pull, pause, lengthen, stretch. Okay, shoulder blades back and down, pull, pause, lengthen, stretch. Shoulder blades back and down, pull, pause, lengthen, stretch. Guys, that is how you want to do your chin-ups. What you want to try and remove from your chin-ups is the swing or momentum or kipping, as the CrossFitters like to call it. You're not engaging your muscles, which is why they use it. Okay, so let's dive into this area. Kipping is used for performance. Okay, they can do the most amount of repetitions for the least amount of effort put in, which is why they use momentum to keep them going, which is why you see them look like a butterfly, or they're doing the butterfly up and down on the bar. Okay, they are about performance. They're about the ability to move, to execute as many reps as possible in a short amount of time. Now, we're not about that. We're about executing to perfection, and we're also about getting the most out of the exercise, not trying to get through the exercise in order to beat a time. That's why they use kipping. Okay. Another thing you want to be aware of is when we fatigue, we're going to come up and we're going to round off. Now, I'd love to do a better example of that, but at the top we're going to round off and our shoulders are going to close in. Now, we want to make sure that this doesn't happen, because what this tells us is that our scapula is not stable. We're not pulling back and down, we've let that go. And we know this because our lats come up and insert into our forearm here, into our arm here. Now we know the lats are doing predominantly the work. So when our minor muscles start to give way on our scapular retraction and our stability, we know that our primary muscle is still doing the work, which is why we're starting to cave off. Now we don't want to cave off. We want to keep ourselves nice and open, keep a nice balanced physique. So again, when we do this, we want to be back and down first, then pull through. Okay, I don't even mind if you eliminate the stretch. So if you just want to hold this position, shoulder blades back and down, and then pull through, 1, 2, and so on, it's not a bad way to start. Then once you've mastered that, you can keep that contraction on whilst at a full stretch and go into your stretches. Team, that is how you execute a chin-up. I hope you've enjoyed today's short clip, and I hope you got plenty out of it.